WWE has taken even more shots at Sasha Banks and Naomi, so we'll see what the latest is there. We'll also discuss the possibility of a big twist on Roman's story. Let's start things off with the latest on Sasha Banks and Naomi. This is starting to become a daily topic, but that's because new information on this topic keeps rolling in. The latest update was on SmackDown, where WWE went ahead with even more shots towards Sasha Banks and Naomi. We talked about what happened on Raw. It shocked everyone to hear and see WWE address the walkout live on air and force Corey Graves to call Sasha and Naomi unprofessional and take shots at them. Then WWE released their statement that we went over earlier in the week with their full side of the story. Again, this is something we've never seen them do before, so everyone was shocked that we even got a statement. Both the live commentary by Corey Graves and the WWE release statement had one goal in mind: paint Sasha and Naomi as the villains. And that narrative continues again on SmackDown. Michael Cole was forced to go over the walkout from Raw and give a whole recap of what happened. Michael Cole was then forced to say that Sasha Banks and Naomi let us all down, and mentioned how they've been both suspended indefinitely and stripped of the tag team titles. There will now be a tournament to crown the new women's tag team champions. Like everyone pointed out, how is there going to be a big tournament when there's literally no teams left in the division? It looks like WWE will throw some teams together now for this tournament. Other fans pointed out how it took Sasha and Naomi walking away from WWE to actually give some attention to the women's tag team titles. And that's true. Even in their absence, Sasha and Naomi are still helping the women's tag team division, because now there'll be a tournament for the division. The way WWE is handling the situation appears to be clear. They're moving on and basically taking the "we don't need you" approach for Sasha and Naomi. Everyone was hopeful that maybe they can talk this out during this week, maybe smooth things over to get these big stars back on TV. But it doesn't appear that WWE is interested in that approach at all. They continue to take shots at Sasha and Naomi at every chance that they can and appear to be done with them. Mark Henry had a big issue with WWE using Sasha and Naomi's co-workers to take shots at them, such as the Corey Graves remark, the Michael Cole line, and so on. Mark Henry said that if it was his wife, he would have been marching down to that commentary table every time they disrespected them like that. WWE is hammering this idea that they're fully innocent, and that Sasha and Naomi are monsters for walking out for no good reason. That's their narrative. But unfortunately for them, no one's buying it. The more WWE tries to paint Sasha and Naomi as the villains, the more support they end up getting from the fans, and rightfully so. A lot of people are throwing up comparisons to Stone Cold Steve Austin's WWE walkout from the early 2000s. WWE did everything in their power to bury Stone Cold as much as they could, and that appears to be the plan with Sasha and Naomi. There's even old document footage fans have been digging up where Vince McMahon talks about how the one thing you can never do in this business is walk out and not show up. He said that fans are expecting you to be there and how wrong it is. And all of that is true, especially if a superstar just walks out for no reason. But the thing with Sasha and Naomi is that they didn't walk out for no reason like WWE is saying in their narrative. They walked out for a huge reason. They're the women's tag team champions. They're trying to elevate the tag team division, bring more eyes to your titles. All they wanted was reportedly just a title defense at Hell in a Cell. That's all you had to give them to keep them happy. But instead you said no and let them walk out. So in reality, no side is fully wrong or fully right. Everyone had a role to play with what ended up happening. It wasn't like Sasha and Naomi randomly woke up one morning during a great title reign and decided to just quit the company. That's not how it went down. There was definitely a lot of reasoning behind the move. As the reports claimed, Sasha and Naomi were in meetings all day trying to pitch ways to make everyone happy. But the big man allegedly told them that it's going to be his way and left them with no choice. And since then, the latest is that WWE has fully taken down all of Sasha Banks and Naomi's merchandise items from WWE Shop. If you try going to Sasha or Naomi's pages on WWE Shop, it will tell you that the page doesn't exist. WWE has also taken down Sasha Naomi Superstar Facebook pages as well. Sean Ross reached out to WWE for a statement on if Sasha Naomi had been released, and WWE said that they were not released. As far as any sort of response from Sasha or Naomi, still nothing at all. The only thing Naomi has done was change her profile picture and banner on Twitter and remove all WWE references from her page. The only thing that's missing right now from the entire situation is a statement from Sasha Banks and Naomi with their side of the story. WWE is doing everything they can right now to bury Sasha Naomi's images, like they did to Stone Cold Steve Austin and others. But things are different now. There's social media, and Sasha and Naomi have their own platforms with millions of followers and fans right at their disposal. So they can easily counter what WWE is trying to do to them by releasing their side of the story. But for whatever reason, they're not doing that right now. And like Booker T said, it's hard to dive into this story only knowing one side to it. We need to hear that other version to the story. In other news, there was another big defining moment for the Bloodline this week. The Usos, with the assistance of Roman Reigns, were able to defeat Riddle and Randy Orton to become the new unified tag team champions. Fans have mixed reactions to the outcome of that match, but you do have to appreciate history and greatness. We've never seen a faction quite like the Bloodline, where you have an undisputed world champion and now undisputed tag team champions. The Bloodline is continuing to leave a bigger and bigger mark in the history books by the day and truly make their case of being one of the most dominant factions in all of WWE history, no doubt about that. It was a huge moment for them on SmackDown. They proceeded to take out Riddle, and the camera cut to so many fans who were extremely disappointed. It was a big match that could have altered the Bloodline's future in either direction. Roman made it clear that if the Usos lost that unified tag team title match, that he no longer wanted anything to do with them. So it was a lot of pressure for the Usos heading into that match. It was either win and make great history or lose and get kicked out of the Bloodline. One very small and subtle moment that could potentially hint at something big coming down the line happened in the opening segment. When Roman Reigns told the Usos what was at stake that night, he brought them in for a hug, and when he did that, the camera focused on Roman's face, and he gave off a very evil smirk. And that smirk alone is fueling a lot of theories. Roman smirked at a time where the Usos couldn't see his face. So does that smirk refer to something that he's hiding or planning to do towards them? Or was that smirk just because he knew he would come out later in the night and make sure that the Usos win the unified tag team titles? So as you can see, something as little and subtle as a smirk can mean so many different things. Is Roman truly planning something behind the scenes against the Usos? That smirk to the audience that the Usos couldn't see just made it feel like something was going on. Not to mention the fact that without Roman Reigns, the Usos would have never won the unified tag team titles. So pay attention to that, because that point is most definitely going to come up again as soon as some tension starts rising with the Bloodline. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.